What's happening, folks? Happy Saturday, January the 11th. How you guys doing? I'm Andy Vitale, host of My Fight Our War, and just kind of relaxing in the studio, relaxing kind of day today. Went out and got some fresh air and all that good stuff, as you guys may have saw earlier, and came back and actually did some more stuff on the studio as far as some sound padding up and all that good stuff. And now we are just sitting here. Decided to go live for a little bit, chit chat, have a little, you know what? Why not? It's chit chat. It's Saturday. Let's kind of just see what's going on with everybody. I got just out of camera here is the Wonder Dog, who is just laying here, give you that eye like, yeah, I'm going to do something. But before we do that, let's get OG in the house. There she is.
Evening, everybody.
And hope you guys survived those of you in Detroit, Michigan survived that blizzard, man. Woo. Woo.
2 inches.
I mean, it was, we got that. I love listening to these forecasts, and it was so damn funny. I think it was last night. You know how they get the weather going, and they'll have the people out in the doing different locations, doing remotes. Hey, how's the weather here? How the streets here? How's traffic here? they had one of the people out, and doing a live shot from their van, and it had I think they were on 94. I'm not sure where on 94, but here they were showing other areas of the city, and they had some snow coming down, obviously. Some of the places, just a dusting to maybe an inch or so.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they're like, oh, let's go do so and so. How are the traffic? How's the roads? How's this? And they shot to this one reporter, and they show her sitting in the seat. And then they turn the camera to show I-94. The highway itself, the roads, you couldn't get any more dry. And I mean, I know it was hit and miss stuff. Obviously, we got snow out there for those of you in Michigan, but it was so damn funny. Just how the what? It's like, yeah, we had to slow down to 85. The traffic here, Jim, is a little bit, a little white knuckled. We had to drop down from 90 to 85 miles an hour, but but it did get a little slippery this morning. Go to the gym. There were cars spun out.
Yep.
We had one.
Metro Parkway.
There was,
Metro Parkway.
Yeah, there was. You heard about them. Of course, you get some snow, and you get people who are doing one or the other. They are driving maybe 20 miles an hour in a 55 on the freeway, or they're doing 55 in a 35. It's just like, come on, people. If you lived in Michigan,
pick a number.
It's just like it's not rocket science. Just be careful. In fact, on the way to the gym, I was going down 16 mile in my truck, and there happened to be another 4x4 next to me. And as we're driving, this white, smaller sports car Mercedes goes zipping by. And not zipping, but he passed us, put it that way. And this small sports car, and it really didn't pay attention to it. And all of a sudden, we're coming up a little bit, and a ways up in front of us, I see this same Mercedes in the one lane, and he's now spinning, and he's in the other lane,
so
and now
scary.
he's all the way to the other side. Now he's back and spinning again. So me and the truck were right next to each other. So we slowed down at the exact same speed, put our hazards on, and stopped traffic on Metro Parkway. And we're watching this guy just spin, or girl spin all over the place, and they get control before going off the road, thank God. And we're watching, just sitting there, and they get control. Now they're turning the car to go back the other way. And all of a sudden, right behind me, I see lights flashing everywhere. Cops were there behind me. I didn't even realize it. And they go around and make sure everything's okay. The guy or girl, whoever, continues driving down Metro Parkway towards Gratiot. The officer turns the lights off. The car proceeds to the light, goes to turn right. And as soon as they did, cop turned the lights on, pulled them over, and probably got him for driving in excessive speed due to the driving conditions. So, besides the weather update, you just got your traffic update too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're welcome.
There
For
was
those
one
of
in the
you,
ditch.
and yes, that's about 2.5 minutes of your life you'll never get back.
Mhm.
Other than that, though, just enjoying the day, man. Getting
Tell
stuff
about
ready.
our friends in Alabama. How much snow?
Yeah, to Lori
Yes.
and all of our friends,
Phyllis, your new friend Phyllis.
and our new family members, Phyllis in Athens, Alabama. I'm not sure exact the total, but they got hit with that snowstorm to the south of us, and yeah, so they're out there and dealing with it. And they don't have plows or salt trucks, man. They're out there out in the fields and in the backwoods and all that stuff. So, like Lori said, when they do this, they just hunker down and that's it for a few
Yeah,
days.
she said it was all ice, and she
So,
goes,
yeah,
she's going stir crazy because you can't leave the house. But
yeah,
be safe, stay in the house.
I mean, hell, we got salt trucks and plows here, and people are still, driving like idiots
Crazy.
and sliding around. They have nothing at all. So, to all of our friends down south that are dealing with all of this,
Be safe.
Be safe. God bless you, and of course, to all of those people with families and friends in California, our prayers go out to all of you guys, man. Seeing this stuff is just. When you hear stuff and you say it's beyond words, that literally, I mean, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know or haven't seen when you're watching the news where they show
Incredible.
these people and I almost said what's left. There's nothing left. It's just so heartbreaking. And I know it's funny now talking about social media and making fun of these people, on news media, because now being part of social media, but it is so it just pisses me off when you get somebody who they just want to get the story. It doesn't matter what the story is or how devastating it is. They want to shove that microphone right in someone's face to get the heart of the story. They want to get the raw emotions and they want to be the first on the scene. And some of the things that these people ask, I was watching this one lady and she's sitting there and she's like, can you explain the feelings as you're looking at, well, basically everything that you've had is gone. How do you feel at this time? And this guy and his wife are just like, how do you think? I said, it's beyond words. I mean, this is just the worst thing that you can imagine happening to anybody, and all of your personal belongings and everything, that the memories and mementos and pictures, stuff that you'll never get back, that are just gone. And just, and then she goes, well, how does that feel knowing that you'll never see them again? That's got to be just devastating. And I'm watching this going, man, please just punch her.
Yeah, really.
And it's just, and then you get some of the reporters and the people out there who do a great job and they're sensitive to these people. And instead of when they see the devastation and the pain in these people's faces, instead of wanting to show it on camera and be the first to get the story, they are sensitive to that. And to you guys, thank you.
You know what I thought you were going to say? When you wanted to get angry with somebody, are the looters.
Oh my God! And
It's
then
like,
they got
really?
these pieces of shit that are looting what, and you're
little is
probably
left.
like, looting what? Well, obviously the houses that are still there that are getting these mandatory evacuation, these little pricks are going in and looting. I know how I feel about that. I wish would happen to them as soon as they're seen. I'm not going to say, but those of you who know me know exactly how I feel about what, as far as that is. These people are dealing with such tragedy, and then to have these scumbags, come in and do something like that. All I can say is karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. You want to sit there and run into a place that's being evacuated to try to loot these people? You know what? I don't wish harm on anybody, but these fires flash up just like that. And as I said, karma's a bitch. But I just, what? I don't want to turn this into a hate fest, but seeing that, how it doesn't make anyone want to just go out there and just do what I think about. But instead, how about doing this, man? Our thoughts and prayers are with you guys, 100%, man. We are thinking about you, praying for you guys and all of your families and friends. Anyone who's out there, our thoughts and prayers are with you, man. And also, we want to give a shout out to Katie, to Danny, to Stacy, and let's see. Well, it's still.
Hey, Stacey.
Besides having the shoulder operated on a week from Thursday, the 31st of January, I'm having my left eye redone again because I can't see out of that because of issues with the surgery I had on my eye. How you doing? How you doing? OG. Everyone, you know what, Danny? Everyone is. We are good, man.
Yes, we are.
We are blessed, and
every day.
yes, you know
every
what?
Every day and every way.
I opened my eyes this morning.
You know who you were.
I got out of bed. I went to the gym.
Yay.
Saw family. Saw friends. Life is good, and not only that, here with you guys.
The best.
Life is good.
The best.
And I got Wonder Dog here, who is actually sitting right here. She's right under my pen, and she's asleep.
Yep.
She's sleeping, sitting up. They're lying down.
Moved.
Oh, she just woke up. But hope everything is great with you and Katie and the family. And Stacy, of course, my little brother, Skylar Ray and Kayla, as they continue to kick out hit after hit after hit. And
good sounds.
You know what? And since it is just let's chat, scattered, silly Saturday, as you guys know, I never follow a script anyway. So, and usually, actually, I hit live. And what happens for those of you who don't do this and do the whole setup, and when you hit live, go live on to do the live stream, you got about 5 to 10 seconds ish before it actually goes live. So for me, the professional that I am, I'll hit live and then I'll say to OG, what day is today? And then she'll say, it's Saturday the 11th. Oh, and then I'll say, what are we going to talk about? I'm not kidding either.
Whatever comes
I'm not kidding. Unless it is a show on Monday, just like last Monday when we had Brenda Parent on, aka Sunshine, who again, Brenda,
good job.
If you see this or when you see this, thank you for sharing. The comments, the posts that we got from your show and your story were incredible. And
touched a lot of hearts.
You really did, man. And again, that just goes back to before she came on, before she was a guest on the show, and we were just talking about it, and she was a little nervous, and we were talking about it, and she was like, I think her comment was little old me, just my story, like it almost
like it doesn't matter.
Like no one would care or something like that. And I told her, everybody's story matters. Everybody. I don't care who you are, what your status or your title is. I don't care how, everybody's story matters. And everybody's story will touch somebody. I've had the same thing, man. I remember before I started doing this, and before I told my story, I'd hear some of these stories, and I was like, good God. Wow. And I remember thinking, man, I think I'm going to back out of like Sober School and Hard Knocks. Like, man, my story is nothing compared to these stories. And I remember telling Brad McLeod that at Sober School, and they wanted to know what mine was. And again, I was kind of like Brenda. I mean, I didn't think it was anything that, flashy, interesting, intense, where people were going to be, kind of overwhelmed by it. And when I talked to Brad and told him about it, he was like, you got to come on, man. And that happens with a lot of us. You tend to see things that happen to ourselves like it's, well, you know, like it's not a big deal, and it is. You know, it really is. Like, you know, Brenda, for all these guests that I have met, for the people whose shows I've been on, for the people who've been on our show, you know, just hearing, you know, these stories are just intense. So yeah, don't ever cut yourself or sell
Mm-mm.
yourself short by thinking that that you don't matter, that your stories don't matter, because they really do. And we know what, just looking through here, let's pop on here. We got, of course, we got Danny. And
Lori's
I
on.
saw Katie.
Uh-huh.
How you doing, Katie? Along with little man and the family. So we got Katie, we got Danny, we got the family there. And of course we got Stacy,
Mm-hmm.
and let's
Lori.
see. And we were talking about our family in Athens, Alabama.
6
There
inches of
she
snow.
is. What's that?
6 inches of snow. We got maybe 2.
We got 2 to 3. Lori, who is in Athens, Alabama, where they don't have plows or salt trucks or nothing, got 6 inches of snow, 3 more than us.
Woo,
And here we are used to this stuff, and we're like, oh no.
it's snowing now.
So, Lori, I'm glad you survived. And this is a time now, just cuddle up, watch it
Mhm,
snow, watch some movies, and
mhm,
just relax.
mhm.
So, Lori, thank you for everything you're doing down there. Now, maybe take this time, and I know they'll never happen. I was going to say, take this time to kind of just chill and take care of
No,
Lori.
she's
But that's not in
working.
your DNA.
Nope,
I'm
nope.
sure you're doing like 10 other things to help 10 other people at the exact same time.
And she's working on the rally.
I was just going to say, and of course, the rally they've got going on, her event in June, which we will be at.
Yay!
I'm very, very honored to be speaking at that event in Huntsville or Athens, Alabama in
You're flying
June.
into Huntsville.
We will be there, and can't wait to finally be there in person with you. And we've got our new family member Phyllis, who reached
Mhm.
out. Our OG talked to today. And with that being said, when
February 3rd, she's going to be on 7 p.m. Eastern time, and she's got quite a story. She started telling me on the phone.
yep,
Whoa.
yep, and there's
Woo.
quite a bit that's involved, and we're not going to give any of it away
Nope.
because it's Phyllis's story to tell.
Mm-hmm,
So, Phyllis, thank you for one trusting us
mm-hmm.
to bring you on to a safe place to tell your story
February 3rd.
and to become part of our family here at My Fight Our War. Thank you, Lori, for letting me know about her. And this was just in conversation. Lori, it's a friend of hers in Alabama who had this terrible story because of addiction and everything, that the evil that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she was supposed to go on and tell her story, and
Didn't happen.
things happen. Let's just leave it at that. And so this Phyllis was very upset and hurt by that, and felt that she didn't have a platform to go to.
She's got a family now.
That's not the case.
She got
You're
a big
part of My Fight
family.
Our War. You have a voice, and we can't wait to sit there, and
Mm-hmm.
we will be chatting before then. But Lori, thank you,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
all you guys, man. This is we have an incredible family here, which
Mhm.
is you guys who have been seeing the last few shows know that the other day, Thursday, was not only a makeup day for Music and Mayhem, which is usually Wednesdays with my brother
Mhm.
Skylar Ray.
Mhm.
We did it Thursday, which was not only um, Music and Mayhem, but it was My Fight Our War second anniversary. And
Yay.
I still can't believe it, man. It's 2 years
Incredible.
since that I formed this amazing family, and it all the way it happened was incredible. And also those of you who know my brother Sidney, who passed away, and who was just someone very special to me down at Father Solanus Casey Center in
Mhm.
Detroit. I had the privilege and honor of being his pallbearer, and I was down there today, and I was talking to a lot of the people, and sharing some stories. And the one lady who is the head of hospitality, and she ended up also being Sydney's godmother. and just had a beautiful story to tell about him at his mass, at his funeral. And when I saw her today, we started talking, and she found out who I was, and then heard, or what she's heard who I was, put two and two together with My Fight Our War, and then she's like, the bike, and
Yes.
yeah, we sat and talked for a little bit, and she didn't know the whole backstory of My Fight Our War and my story and all that, but she had little bits and pieces, and I was able to sit there for about a half hour and talk to her about how this amazing family started. It was really nice.
Great.
Not only to talk about My Fight a War, all of you guys and what we do, but just to tell stories about Sydney. And again, this goes back to telling our stories and how much they mean to someone else. And even though we think that they don't mean that much, or they're not that intense. So I gave her the Reader Digest version of mine, and I'm just cutting through and snipping this and doing that. And as I'm telling her this, her and this other really sweet lady that's there that works at the counter, we're just sitting there. And as I'm going on, they're just staring at me. And they, again, just afterwards, they were like, the story is just incredible. It's a miracle that you're still here. And seeing the looks in their eyes, for me telling the story, I've told it so many times on different shows and even on our show, that, like Brenda, it just feels like, well, it's just a story. But it is kind of intense when they both kind of looked at me and they said they came in and told you that you have less than 6 weeks to live, that you're going to die, and to say goodbye to your family and friends, and hospice was taking over your care. And I was like, yeah. And it was almost like, well, doesn't that happen to everybody?
No.
And because it happened to me. And it was
You're a walking miracle.
January 27th is going to be 5 years of my sobriety. And it'll be pretty much when right around the time when they came into my room and they said, you're going to die in less than 6 weeks. So then to come to find out, after 7 days of laying their way to die, and they came in and informed me that not only am I not going to die, but all of my lab work started going all haywire again with my kidneys, pancreas, and liver, but they're all normal. And so to me, telling it's just my story to tell, and it gets, it doesn't seem as intense to me as others, just like with Brenda, and just like maybe some of you. The bottom line is what I'm getting at is your stories are going to make such a difference, just like Brenda's did, just like Lori's, just like all of the others who have been so gracious and brave to do that. Because I'm telling you firsthand, before I started doing shows and all that, we all have a first, the first time you told that story to anybody. And then those of you who've been on shows who have told your story, the first time that you've told it in an interview to the world. I mean, it's intense. I mean, you're telling your story, your life story to the world. I mean, I've had people that, well, when they first got into this, just as IT, savvy as me, thinking, man, I didn't realize that when you go live on social media and the internet and Facebook Live, we're getting comments from people from South Africa, from Ireland, from New Zealand, from all over the world. And it's like, it's not just Macomb County here in Detroit. You're reaching a lot of people are hearing our stories.
Yeah.
So, it's intense. And so everybody who has come on the show and shared your very personal, painful stories in order to help other people, thank you. And it's my honor and privilege to have you on, and for most of you to be part of our family. It's huge.
The family is so good. There's no guilt, no blame, no shame.
No, man, we're here.
Just support.
We'll sit there and
listen.
I remember
patiently.
when I first started my fight art war, not knowing nothing from nothing, just I literally, I mean, now I sleep maybe 3 hours a night. Back then, I didn't sleep, man. It was just nonstop looking at, I'd turn on my phone, or I'd turn it on. I'd go to my phone, I'd hit the page, and I'd see new people, new posts, new comments. And then I'd be getting messenger would be blowing up from people who were asking things that didn't want to be posted yet. And it was something I've never experienced. And within the first week or so, I mean, we were getting people just nonstop that were joining. And then I remember just looking, a lot of them were just like, hey, I'm so and so from Florida. I'm so and so from Canada. I'm so and so from, different parts of the United States, different parts of the world, just saying their names and saying hello. And they're glad to be part of the family. And then we had, just from there giving their sober date. And then from there, giving a little background as far as dealing with drugs, alcohol, what it was. And then all of a sudden, instead of just, hi, I'm so and so, here's my sober date, all of a sudden I'm seeing these lengthy posts. And I'm reading some of these. And as I'm reading these, it was just like, oh my God. I mean, some of the stories, not only where the people say, I'm so and so, I'm dealing with heroin, alcohol, whatever it may be, and I've been using for 30 years, or then I've been clean for 20 years, or this and that. But then getting into the personal parts of the life of what addiction did, not only to them physically, emotionally, spiritually, but to the families, man, to the friends. And I'm reading this, and then all of a sudden we'd have a few pop on. It was like, listen, man, I'm struggling today. I had something came up with our family. I had a death in the family, or something happened at work. I had a personal problem,
I really want to drink.
And I'm afraid that this might trigger this, and I'm worried. And this, and all of a sudden, I'm watching the screen, and it's like bing, 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 message, comment. Not one, not five, like 10, 15, 20 people are hitting this person's post. You got this. You're not alone. Here, share phone numbers. Call me.
Strong.
Call me. Yeah. Here's my number. Text me. Call me anytime. And I'm just total strangers who have never met. And we're telling each other stories and personal information that a lot of our own family and friends don't even know. That's the closeness that all of a sudden I knew that I was onto something here. And I looked up and I just thank God because
special.
It was amazing. And I remember having to do all the, fill this part in to start a social media, and it kept saying group and this and that. And I just hated that. And it's like, we're not a group, we're a family. And I remember when I started this, way back on January 2023, January the 9th, I remember the intro or the mission statement, whatever it was. I said, listen, we are family. And when we talk about each other, we are not a group or a client or whatever. No, we are, we're family. That's how I want everyone to please address everybody. And next thing you know, I mean, from that minute on, good morning, family. Hey, family. I love this. Everybody that was chiming in was saying just that. And I tell you what, it meant everything to me. It meant a lot. And to this day. So again, I thank you guys,
and from all of the Philippines, with Helen in the Philippines, Dean in Ireland, and Angie in New Zealand, and like Miriam from Zambia. I was like, whoa, all right.
Yep. I mean,
you got a lot of relatives there, young man.
We
have a lot of relatives.
We're reaching so many people.
Yes.
And it's just such a great feeling to hear that we're making a difference. And you know what? We're not inventing a wheel here. I mean, unfortunately, addiction's been around a long ass time. But at the same time, people doing what we do, we're like I said, we're not inventing a wheel. This as far as recovery groups, as far as organizations, for drugs, for alcohol, for mental health issues, for domestic violence, for physical violence, for all these things. There are amazing organizations who have been here for a long ass time. But for whatever reason, it just seems like it's getting thrown under the carpet, because it is painful and people are embarrassed. And I remember talking with a husband and wife, and they were talking about their the son, or well, actually, it was, I think, son and daughter, or son and wife of the son, who had drug and alcohol issues. And when we were talking and about it, it was, she's like, well, we don't have the problem, but it's our son and her and his wife. That's what it was. He says, but you know what? We really don't talk about it outside of the family, and we don't talk about it outside of the house. We don't want anyone to know. It was like they were embarrassed. And I told her, I said, listen, man, addiction is not taboo. Addiction is not a death sentence. What is when you silence it and you don't, confront it, that's when addiction's going to win. And the next time you do talk about it, and I told her too, because it was drugs and alcohol with the son and the wife. I said, by not talking about it and confronting it, you just put another drink in his hand. By not talking about it and confronting it, you just put a needle in her arm. So the next time we do talk about this, will be at their funerals. And she was very pissed off at me. And I said, well, there you go. You can be pissed off at me for stating the facts, because I've seen it and it's part of what addiction does and what it is. Or you can, do something about it and
support them.
Yeah. And the thing is, don't shame them. Don't sit there and, look down at people. No, that's not what we need, and it's very hard. And I get it. Trust me.
The line, they'll keep it quiet because like nobody knows. No,
Yeah,
everybody knows.
Everybody knows. And just like, people that are in active addiction, who are the ones dealing with,
can hide it.
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times I'm sitting there. I'm just totally out of it. And I'm thinking, man, nobody knows that I'm just hammered right now. No one knows doing drugs. No one knows this. Man, you know what? No, people know. And, but by not talking about it, and it's scary, man. I get it. It is. And the thing is, when you are part of a family and you are mom and dad. In fact, I just talked to a lady a couple of weeks ago. She doesn't have an issue or anyone with drinking, a husband, but her son has a serious problem. But she goes, we don't know how to deal with it, because here you went from no problem to all of a sudden there's this problem. And as we started talking, there were, there's signs. I mean, there's warning signs that, like, red flags will start popping up. And it's usually when things start getting worse with the addiction, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. And the thing is, sometimes you're afraid of the truth. As a parent, you think, man, instead of worrying about your son or daughter or whoever, you start to think, about yourself. It's like, what did I do wrong? And I feel bad. What are people going to think of me as a parent?
What are the neighbors?
What are they going to think? My son or my daughter or my husband or my wife is dealing with addiction. They're going to look at me. It's not about you, and it's about your loved one. And that's when I told her, addiction is not a death sentence. I'm here to tell you that, looking right at you, because they told me I was going to die. They had hospice right there. They introduced themselves. They flat out told me, we're going to be here with you until your last breath. You will not be in any pain. We're going to be there for you. You'll never be alone. I'm just like, oh, thanks. Appreciate it. But
that's what they do.
And the thing is, so you just, I don't want anyone to have to get that phone call. I don't want anyone I still remember that day when when they left my room and they're like, you need to let your loved ones know they need to come. You need to say goodbye to them because you're not going to be here long. Just think about that for a second. What would you do if you woke up? Because this happened to me. I woke up in the morning by this doctor telling me that you're going to die in 6 weeks. I had to pick up that phone. My ma answered. Hello. I'm like, hi, Ma. Yeah, I need you to come to the hospital. Well, I'm going to be there later on. I'll be there. No, I need you to come here now. Well, why? Think about that for a second. Because, Mom, I'm going to be dead in 6 weeks or less. I may not be here when you get here if you don't get here soon. And again, it happened to me. And I still, like when I told OG about it, about hospice taking over, my organs shutting down. It happened to me. I'm still here. So it's like, well, it must not be that big of a deal. This must happen a lot. And she's like, no, when you have complete organ failure, when all of your organs stop functioning, you die. You don't come back. And
they don't call hospice for nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah. She goes, when hospice comes into your room and takes over your care, it's not because they just want to meet you and say hi. Yeah. It's because you're under their care. It may be you might be in hospice. You might be there a day, a week. You might be in there months in hospice care, but it means you're not going to be here long, or you're gonna pass. So, there's times now where I'll think about that. And it's just like, I have this very empty feeling. I never cried when they told me I was going to die, which was very odd. There's times now where I get this very strange feeling that I deal with. And starting, our family, I remember thinking, I don't want anyone to feel what I feel. Even to this day, we all have our moments. All of us do. Even if you're not dealing with addiction, we all have dark times in our life that we're just in that space, that terrible space. And but when you're dealing with addiction, it magnifies it 1 billion times over. And I told a person at one time who informed me that people dealing with addiction are nothing but weak cowards and we're selfish. Okay, I'll give you that. When people are doing drugs and alcohol and when they're active addiction and all that, you're damn right, man, because we don't care about anyone else except for getting shit faced. We don't care about anyone except for, we are selfish because we don't care what's happening. Everything he said, but I said, you couldn't be more wrong when you're talking about all of us who have been graced by God to still be here and dealing in recovery. And that's because we're just the same as everyone else. Before drugs and alcohol and addiction, we're the same people. Yeah, before this became an issue as we are now. We are just made bad decisions and it damn near killed us. And it has killed some of our family and friends. But
lost a lot
with that being said too, is I informed him, I said, you know what, throughout your day, he made very clear that he never had an issue with anything, drugs, alcohol. No one he knows ever had a problem.
Yeah, right.
To which I said, bullshit. And I said, okay, well, you want to talk about weak and all that. I said, don't you ever call anyone in recovery weak. I go, one, beat your freaking ass because you couldn't be more wrong. And you're talking out of your ass because you have no idea what you just said. Because I go, you deal with work issues, personal issues, financial issues, all these other things that you deal with, and it drives you, totally just badass crazy. Guess what? So do we. But on top of that, now pile addiction on that with the temptation that comes along with it nonstop. And we beat it every stinking day because we fight and we're strong. So by the time I got done talking to him,
Can you convert him?
No, he apologized. And he goes, well, I didn't quite think of it that way. I just thought about the before, not the after. And I go, I get it. And I said, and that's on us. The first thing we got to do when it comes to addiction, and well, the first thing I say, as far as myself, I will never tell anybody that you have to do this to recover. I will never tell anyone, if you don't do this, you're gonna rebound, or you're gonna fall off whatever it is. Whatever works for you to stay sober, it works for you. But for me, I had this woman that I talked to a couple weeks ago. I said, tell your son, you got to own it. Whatever it is, drugs, alcohol, mental health issues, whatever it is that's causing these issues in our lives, own it. Once because until you own it, it owns you. Until you own the issues with alcohol, drugs, eating disorder, anything else, until you own it and know that it's an issue, it will own you. And she looked at me. She was like, wow. And she goes, I love that. And that's just how I feel, man. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let anything own me, and the thing is, we are going to stumble,
Human.
Life, life's life, man. Life's a bitch, and life's beautiful, and life's everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why seeing you guys is just, oh God, I was on a ramble there, boy. I was just on a little rant. So
Yeah.
you know what? I was going to say
That's
sorry,
okay.
but no, I'm not.
No.
That's just part of what this amazing family is. So,
That script you were following.
oh yeah, I'm on page.
Yeah, right.
I'm on page. Actually, the only thing I did write down is I wanted to give a shout out to a couple friends. Actually, my good brothers too, who are jumped into my life here because I wouldn't stop bothering them and all that stuff, are going to help out.
Oh
Yeah, some friends who are one from school, one from the radio world, who are going to help out with My Fight or War and with the studio here. A huge shout out to Screaming Scott Randall, who, if anyone from Detroit and outside of Detroit and in the radio world knows who Scott Randall is. He's been part of WRIF forever. He's been part of Detroit radio forever. Now he's part of WCSX on 94.7. You can catch Screaming Scott from 3 to 7. Has been seeing some of our shows. He knows about me through a very good friend from high school, Buddy Joe, Loco Joe, man. Thank you.
Loco Joe?
Loco Joe, man. I tell you what. Yeah, these guys, I tell you, Joe and Scott and some of the episodes and the band and their singing and stuff they do, they're just awesome individuals. So to Scott, Joe, thank you guys so much for reaching out. Yes, I've been that annoying gnat. Hey man, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help? Hey, I promise that if you answer me, I won't call you again. No, I won't. I'm going to keep bugging you. Oh, and back to that. Mike Young.
Yes, you did that with
Since
Mike.
I'm bugging people, Mike Young, who is a native Detroiter, who is a comedian, he is an actor, he's a producer, he's a director. Just had a show that he produced called Stealing Jokes. I highly recommend it on Netflix. He is on tour right now, traveling all over the United States with the Comedy Joke Tour, or Comedy Joke. Oh shit! I bet you got that wrong. If I did, Mike, I'm sorry.
Well,
but Mike Young, just check him out. You'll see all of his promotions. Mike Young was nice enough. I was reaching out, bugging his ass too for knowledge and help with everything.
And he called.
And yeah, he responded. So thank you so much, Mike Young, and everyone else who is part of this amazing family. Mm-hmm. But
we have lots of stars.
Yeah, man, we got all of you guys right here.
We got King Handsome. We got all.
That's right. Speaking of which, Monday, January 13th. Do not miss this. Mm-hmm. The one and only King Handsome. Whoa, himself and all the woes from Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. We are going to have King Handsome live this Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, telling his amazing story. I'm just getting to know a lot more about King Handsome and his
Amazing life.
journey. And there's so much that I don't know, because I want that shock and awe factor, just like you guys are going to get on Monday. I like doing that. Sometimes, with guests in the past, I'll get a little snippet of their backstory just to kind of get a little something going on. And then from there, though, that's it, because I love when you guys are hearing their story and I see comments like we had on Brenda when Brenda showed, gave her testimony, her story. I love that, just like you guys. When I'm talking to the guest and you see me going, holy shit, and that look in my face, it's not made up, man. That's me being just as amazed about the good, the bad, and the ugly that we're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, man, what do you got going on? What words of wisdom or anything to anybody that you want to share?
Well, I just feel for all my family members that are in the South dealing with all that snow. I just feel for you. Please drive carefully. I mean, those of us in Michigan who should know how to drive in snow still have issues. And I know that you guys aren't used to it. So please be careful.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely with everybody,
Yeah.
with Lori.
It'll probably be warm in a couple of days and all melt.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully, but just be safe. And then, of course, you can't ever, this tragedy in California, man.
Yeah.
Just thoughts and prayers, man.
Mhm.
They're with you guys. And other than that,
well, then just because we're looking at the calendar on the 27th on a Monday.
yeah, the 27th, which is the following Monday. I was going
Tell
through
about the anniversary. Come on.
Yeah, the going through the list. I'll just usually sit here when it comes to scheduling all that. That's her job. I'll just sit here. It's like, who's on this time? Who's on next time?
Mhm.
And so we have King Handsome Monday, the 13th.
Okay, then on the 20th, we have a Johnny Wyrick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I got to get a hold of Johnny. And
I don't know how to say his last name, so I apologize, Johnny, if I messed
we
it
will
up.
reach out, because I know we've been back and forth trying to get time set up for that. But on the 27th, which is going to be 5 years, I'm going to just get you all with my story again. And we're going to basically take it a little bit further. What we're going to dive into is a lot more than just, hey, it's my 5 years. It's going to be that. It's going to be both. It's going to be about the 5-year sobriety, and it's also going to be about my fight or war, and then combining the two and how one created the other. And of course, with all you guys to be part of it as well.
Yeah, share your sobriety dates with us that night.
Yeah, on that day, what we'll do is I'm going to throw a promo out there, and that's what we'll do. It's going to be a celebration date for everybody on the 27th, which is every day too. I mean, I shouldn't say just one day. We'll do that. In fact, anytime you guys want for shows, whether it's Music and Mayhem, whether it's days like today, whether anytime you see this mug on and you are popping on in the comment section, please feel free to throw out your sobriety date anytime you'd like, man, because that's something to be celebrated every day. So let's definitely do that from now on. Good idea. But other than that, man, I think we're going to call it a day because there. I got nothing flashy or cute to say because I have a headache. And I got Susie girl here who she's been
I've been scratching her neck.
Yeah, she's in, instead of eating the earbuds, instead of eating, there we go. Come on, Susie. Here.
That's what she chews on while we're on the show.
Susie.
She was asleep.
She's sleeping. Yeah, these are old ones these were actually from my first podcast that I did with Sober's Cool that got chewed on by a certain wonder dog. So now she chews on those while she's laying on the table. So to everybody, I hope you have a great Saturday. And to all your family and friends, man, love you guys. And tell
everybody you love them.
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, with this world of ours, it's it happens where you you know, like with Sydney and with all of our family and friends who we've lost, you know, there's never a great time or a right time. You'll hear that term, the untimely death. Is like there was a right time. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you don't want people suffering and all that, but it's like, oh yeah, the untimely death. It was just like that. Always kind of just
Yeah.
caught me. It was just like, well, okay.
Mm,
But again, that's what I always say. Just let people know that you love them every day,
mhm.
because as you guys well know, how I love wandering around, chit chat with my dad at the cemetery and doing my thing there. I would much rather be talking to my dad in person than talking to a headstone.
Yeah.
So I love you guys. God bless you guys, to all of you. Keep fighting a good fight. And until
Yeah.
then, OG,
Good night, all.
Wonder Dog, and to all you guys, I love you. Thank you for everything. And we will be talking soon.
Bye now.